First impressions were actually pretty good. Lasting impressions, not so much. Today's video is going to be short and sweet. Well, short at least. Because soon this property won't be a Hilton, and secondly, because I just don't recommend you go. The water here though, is stunning. By the way, the only thing that I share in my videos are my opinions, and my opinions alone. And if we had the exact same opinions, it would be really weird, no? Let me welcome any of you that might be new to the channel. My name is Kevin. I'm here to give you a self-funded and honest look at some of the best, and some of the not so best, airlines and hotels in the world, which I've been bringing to you full-time for the past 4 years. Check out my hundreds of videos, scan the QR code, or click the link in the description to learn more about how I do things. Let's get into the tour. My lasting impression here was that it was a Shangri-La Yanuka Island in the making. If you haven't seen that video on my channel, the thumbnail looks something like this. The question is, why? Well, primarily because this is a resort that just isn't trying that hard in a drop-dead gorgeous location. As a brief aside, I'll just say, I don't like saying negative things about resorts, especially ones that aren't horrible. If the place is falling apart, then it's very easy to show. But in a case like today's, it's the small details, or lack thereof, that make nearly this whole experience just feel cheap. Take a look at a handful of my negative hotel videos. Generally speaking, they don't get more views than positive ones. Point being, I have no incentive to put a place down if I don't think it's warranted. So if you've been here and you enjoyed it, I'm glad, really, but we simply have different opinions. So this Hilton is owned by Playa Hotels and Resorts. Hyatt just bought the remaining shares of Playa Hotels and Resorts, and that deal is meant to close by the end of 2025. When I stayed here, this was not news yet. So if you have a booking or are making a booking for 2026 and beyond, just know that you're not going to get your Hilton perks, which here don't amount to much anyway unless you're diamond. Within the lobby on the left side, you have the adults-only bar, and on the other side, you have the 24-hour coffee shop. A bit ironic that it's going to be a Hyatt, since until 2018, this was a Dreams Resort, one of the brands which Hyatt has already acquired from Playa. Time will tell what it's rebranded as. Personally, I think Hyatt Vacation Club would best fit here, since there are some definite timeshare vibes throughout. I booked my room at the adults-only resort, which is where we are now, though I'll give you a bit of a tour of the family side as well, since adults have free reign of the place. The resorts are in fact one single property, with an adult section taking up around half of the rooms. There are 774 rooms in total, and the adult side has 356 of them. If there wasn't a rope in the sand splitting the two, you honestly would have no idea that these were separate resorts. The lobby bar area leads out to the Enclave area. This is their club level of sorts. This pool and the pool bar inside are for Enclave guests only. The regular adult pool we'll see in a bit. For some strange reason, I was given a room within the Enclave, but was told I was not to use this pool or the bar. The one that I looked at directly from my balcony. Thanks. Here we are at the primary adult pool. I was here during shoulder season. As a whole, the resort was definitely not anywhere near capacity, but I found this pool to be very crowded during the day. At the same time, the Enclave pool was understandably more calm. But so was the family pool. I was pretty surprised by that. Let's go take a look at the beach. This is the rope that I mentioned that divides the family and adult side, but again, adults are free to move around either side. If you're enjoying the video and would like to support the channel, there are many ways that you can do so. A quick like on the video and subscribe helps videos with the algorithm. You could join my YouTube channel memberships to get early access to some videos and access to all of my community posts. Or you could check out my Patreon, where I post the most and can help you out with any travel-related questions. Whatever you do, thanks for doing it. The water is just about as beautiful as you could hope for, though the waters here in La Romana are rougher than in Punta Cana some times of the year. La Romana's beaches face west, while Punta Cana's face north or east. The one benefit here in La Romana is I didn't notice any seaweed. Let's take a look at where we are. La Romana does have its own airport, which I honestly didn't know about, just a couple of flights per day. You'll likely be coming from Punta Cana, an hour away, or Santo Domingo, which is 90 minutes away. Here's the resort, the two of them combined. This part I'm highlighting is the adults only section, with this part here being the enclave area and rooms. Let's take a look at some of the dining options before heading to the family pool. Mare serves up seafood and is open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, though lunch is only for enclave guests. If you'd like to see the menus or full details of each restaurant, there are two websites to check out, which function as apps on your phone. One for the adults only side and one for the family side. The QR codes on your screen will take you to either one, and from there you can see all of the menus, hours of operations, activities, and the like. Down near the ocean on the family side is what I can only describe as a restaurant strip mall. I have to guess that this was built during the Dreams to Hilton transition, since nothing here matches the resort atmosphere at all. I had lunch at the Coastal Grill, which is open for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, but breakfast and lunch are only for Enclave, Honors Gold, or Diamond members. And yes, I think it's all a bit confusing too. The atmosphere here was giving me very North Jersey diner in 1996. I started out with the chicken Caesar salad, which was definitely a salad, swamped in dressing, 4 out of 10. For the main, I had the pulled pork sandwich, which was very unique because I'm not sure how to pull pork into such beautiful cubes. This could have been good. The pork itself was very tender, but the sauce was just cloyingly sweet. Another 4 out of 10. Now we're on the family side of things. The pool here is significantly larger, or at least feels larger since it's sprawling and not just a simple big oval like the adults pool. The family side of the resort also has a kids water park and various game rooms and tables. Let's go check out my room. The room was so strange and so tiny, and strange just because of how tiny it was. You'll instantly see that it had much more of an ibis or a loft feel than a $300 Hilton. If this was a $55 room in Kuala Lumpur, things would make perfect sense. I'll let you have a look around as I put up the extra bits. The bathroom was such an odd use of space. Full-size double vanities, perhaps starting to show their age. But come with me, let's go check out the toilet. Where is the... oh, there it is. This is the smallest toilet room, or closet, that I've ever seen in a hotel. What's the point? I had to stand next to the toilet in order to close the door. The view was a beautiful green one with side views of that forbidden pool. For dinner, you'll have a few options which are for just adults. Noor is for Mediterranean cuisine, and Sakura is for teppanyaki. I was very much looking forward to something a bit different though. I stayed at 5 resorts in DR, and this is the first one to have a restaurant that actually was devoted to Dominican and more broadly Latin food. The fact that only one other table was taken the whole time I was there though, perhaps points to why no other resorts have Dominican restaurants. I don't get it. But I have to say the food here, and especially the service here, well, it was probably the best food and service that I had of all the resorts, which was a shocker after that lunch. I'll show you the menu simply because there's way too much going on here to explain. The general flow of the menu is you'll automatically get all of the breads and dips, which delighted me, I love Latin breads more than I can say. Then you'll choose an appetizer, choose a soup, and then for the main dish, unless you choose one of the premium upcharge items, you'll get a sampler of what's on offer, which you can customize if you'd like. At every single step of the way, my server walked me through each individual dish, and the specifics of it in a very natural and unscripted way, and also in a way that didn't take 20 minutes each time he put down a plate of food. For the starter, I had the arepas stuffed with brisket and tatemara sauce. I could eat 30 of those as I stand here now writing this script. After that came the pozole, which, despite being hearty, had a refreshingly light broth with a nice kick of acid to it to cut through that incredibly muggy evening. The main included a sampling of short ribs, picanha, Peruvian marinated pork, charcoal roasted chicken, and grilled shrimp. Props to them for finding a kitchen team that can tackle all of these diverse flavors and cooking times in one kitchen at the same time. I was stuffed already, but they insisted I try some dessert, which was a trio of cinnamon rice pudding, an alfajor, and tres leches. The full meal and service combined were a 10 out of 10. Compared to the rest of the resort, was a 16 out of 10. After that fantastic dinner, my hopes for a similar breakfast were piqued. But not today. When I was initially assembling this video into a timeline a few days ago, looking at the buffet, I thought, oh wow, this does really remind me a lot of the buffet at the Ibiza Twins resort. When I took out my notes to write the script now, I jotted down exactly the same thing while I was there. Everything was behind scratch sneeze guards, and it all felt like that super stereotypical, low-quality, all-inclusive breakfast buffet. One of the reasons I prefer self-service, I specifically asked for one slice of bacon. And this is a crime against cuisine. Oh, and only hot filtered brewed coffee is available unless you want to walk over to the coffee shop. Overall, breakfast here is coming in at a 3, and I think I'm being a little bit generous. So let's put this in money terms. Keep in mind that this and all of the rates I'm talking about now are during shoulder season. My rate was around $350. For around $125 more, you could stay at one of the fantastic Cap Cana resorts, 2 of which I reviewed on the channel already. Completely different level from here. The other end of the spectrum, you could spend less, just around $200, like I did, and have a similar, if not a bit nicer experience at the Meliá. I saw speculation online recently that Hyatt would turn this into a Secrets after they take it over, and I laughed out loud. It's not that I think Secrets is the best thing since sliced bread, but there is not enough lipstick in the world to make this property good enough to be a Secrets. So I really do hope that you enjoyed this resort tour today. If you did, please be sure to click that like button and subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss out on my weekly resort and flight videos. I'll see you next time on Arajet for what has to be the best cost to comfort ratio I've ever flown. As always, thanks for watching until the end.